Hello, good morning. Welcome to Gaming Insight Daily for Monday, September 15th, 2025. I'm Steve Saylor. This is your sometimes daily show of gaming news, accessibility news, or updates about my life. I've got coffee in my PlayStation mug today. Oh, yeah. It definitely hits the spot, especially this morning, because, man, I tried to wake up earlier this morning, and it did not happen, so coffee is definitely needed today. Because also of the topic that we're going to be talking about today. I have done several videos in regards to this particular theme of topic, and I will continuously keep making videos about this until it sinks in for some people. Y'all are great. People watch me regularly. You're all great. And if you don't watch me regularly, hit the subscribe button and you can be able to, be a part of this fun community. And hopefully it will change your mind about certain things, especially about accessibility. But I didn't have a plan for today's episode, really, until I saw this article. And then I was kind of more half angry, but then also half like, here we go again, kind of deal. And it mostly has to do with the title of the article. Now, I get it. There are editors involved, and they want the most clickbaity title to try to get you to click on the article. And it worked because it got me to click on the article. But I felt it was disingenuous of a headline that I wanted to at least read through the article to see if the article itself or the author itself had at least a different take on it, and maybe their editors just were like, we need a more salacious clickbaity title. I'm hoping that's the case. But there's also some information in there. I'm beating around the bush. Let's jump into it. So this is from Nintendo Life, and this is written by I can't see right here, Ollie Reynolds. The headline of the article is "Newcomers can break Final Fantasy VII Remake with new difficulty settings." Yes, we're talking about difficulty settings once again, and you'll see why in a minute. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is heading to the Switch 2 on 22nd of February 2026. Finally letting both fans and newcomers experience Square Enix's ambitious reimagining on a Nintendo console since its initial release in 2020. Not only that, but the entire remake trilogy, including Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and as yet an untitled third entry, is also bound for the Switch 2. If you happen to be a complete newcomer to Final Fantasy VII, or indeed Final Fantasy in general, then you might be pleased to know that Square Enix is introducing a whole bunch of difficulty / progression features to the Switch 2 version to make the game much easier. This isn't just a case of making enemies weaker or giving you more experience points, though. No. Much like the re-release of the original Final Fantasy VII on Switch, you could effectively break the game by giving yourself unlimited HP, MP limit gauge, and ATB gauge. Oh, and you can also deal 9,999 damage with every attack if you wish. So it definitely is not necessarily the author's change, because they say effectively break the game. I'm more to say on that in a minute. So let's go over exactly how Square Enix breaks it down. HP is always full. Your HP is at its maximum value at all times. Even when hit by an enemy, your HP won't go down. Instant death is also removed. Tonberries. MP is always full. Your MP is always at its maximum value. Sling out spells with Wild Abandon. Limit gauge is always full. The limit gauge is at maximum when you enter battle, and using powerful limit breaks won't deplete it. ATB gauge is always full. Your ATB gauge is always maxed out, so you can unleash abilities as much as you want without restriction. Damage dealt is always 9,999. With this set on, you'll do maximum damage with every attack. No boss can stand against you. It's worth now this is back to the article. It's worth reiterating that these are completely optional, so if you want to experience Final Fantasy VII Remake as intended, then you can just ignore these. But for those who might be struggling or simply wanted to enjoy the story, then it's great to have options. And that's basically it for the article. And I'm curious to actually see what the comments say. Johnny Mine says, wouldn't be surprised if if these were the quote unquote cheats used in playtesting, but regardless, cool, they'll be included in the full release. Not sure if I'll ever use them myself, but again, options are always good whenever feasible. Looking forward to finally playing this when my copy arrives and as soon as I have the time for it. Even more so since it will be my first mainline Final Fantasy. Divided Wander says, after hearing how stable this runs on Switch 2, I think I'm in all in on this, which just checking price, and it's listed for $39.99 US. Medical Alert, as someone whose younger self was blown away by the PS1 release of the original, I was hoping to love this game, but I cannot go on with it at all. I get through the first area and reach the first more open area, and the game is tedious in the extreme. I so wish I liked it the same way I loved the original when I was a teen. Okay, well, it's... Shield Hero. Sephiroth walks into the room. Surely none of the party members can beat me at their current level. Cloud walks into the room. Think again, buddy boy. I've got activated cheats. Sephiroth gasps, oh my god, I've not activated cheats. It can't be so. Cloud proceeds to obliterate Sephiroth with one hit. The Peppermint Rex. I just want a refresher on the story difficulty. Mr. Ben, I'm a huge supporter of differing difficulty settings, letting people who've paid for the game play how they want. Well, just watch a YouTube video instead just misses the point. Lots of games have lots of fun sections to play and mess around in, coupled with some difficulty spikes that for some aren't that fun. I turned the difficulty down in Remake for a boss fight as by the time you're on your third go for a fight, that takes the best part of 10 minutes. I've had enough. Okay. Although there is some ambulance, glad to see a game just give up on the game portion of the game. Issues with that. Rupee Clock says, sadly, I think it's important. News articles about upcoming gamers are basically promotions as part of marketing campaigns, and company is going to make an effort telling us about a game they're going to sell. The consumers should make an equal effort that they won't buy the game then they're otherwise interested in because of a very real problem. Magellan says, was it mentioned if they are toggled through a menu or options or whatnot? Since as silly as this sounds, I have some really bad obsessive compulsive problems, as in the on the spectrum medical definition, and having some of the stuff mapped to button presses like some of Square Enix's previous RPGs with often no way to disable in button mapping makes some of these really difficult for me to play. Okay, so the comments weren't as bad as I expected it to be. But first off, I want to say this. By adding options to a game from the developer themselves, it is not breaking the game. I have talked about this many, many times before. Adding accessibility does not break your experience with the game. Oftentimes, accessibility is optional. Sometimes it's built into the design, which in effort actually makes it part of the game, the original intention of the game. But players love to complain, and they also love to complain about difficulty settings because they know it's going to get clicks, they know it's going to get views, and I guess I'm guilty of that myself right now. But I come at it from a perspective of course, accessibility. By enabling these settings, where you basically get HP is full, MP is full, limit gauge is full, ATB gauge is full, and damage dealt is 9,999. It allows the player to be able to play the game that's fun for them. If they just want to play a story-based game, that's fine. They can totally do that, and they can enjoy it, and they can go at their own pace. There is still a little bit of like an open world sort of type thing, I guess. I mean, not really necessarily with Rebirth as much as, in Remake, not as much as in Rebirth, but there are definitely moments in the game that can be difficult for or uncomfortable for some players. And you've heard me talk about this many times before. I love the option to be able to customize difficulty. And the fact that all of these are optional and all of these are customizable, you could have HP is full, so that way you don't get hit. And you could basically, then you can focus in on, okay, here's the benefits of just enabling everything except for one, okay? Actually, no, we'll just go through the kind of the potential options for this, all right? And see the benefits of it. Okay, so you enable HP is always full, so you don't get hit and you don't die. You still have to have a strategy of how to be able to beat the boss, but then the pressure of the challenge of losing to that boss by and then having to go back and redo it again, sometimes that's not fun for people. Sometimes they still wanted to be able to figure out the strategy of a boss fight, but they just hate having to take so much damage that that becomes frustrating to them as they're trying to figure out how to be able to beat, to strategize to be able to beat this boss. So you turn on like full HP, so that way you don't die. Then you can take as much time as you want to figure it out, and you can figure out what moves works best, what abilities works best, where to be able to target them, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. You can do that just by turning on one setting of where you don't lose HP, or you can have it where your MP is full and it's at its maximum value. Sling spells with wild event. If you still want to be able to keep the difficulty of of getting hit, and you just basically just want to be able to but you find that what's frustrating is that you always run out of MP when you're trying to be able to use your spells. Then you can be able to have that on as always full. That way you're not having to worry about it. It just gives an additional thing that you don't have to worry about, and you can focus in on, okay, I need to be able to figure out a way to be able to dodge it, so dodge these hits so I don't get hit, or that I don't have to take so much damage. Then that's the strategy of the game. It's not necessarily about what kind of spells will work for against or how you basically you have a bunch of different spells that you have to save some MP for. No, you basically just keep hitting them and see what works. But then also it's now the challenge is you're trying to be able to dodge out of the way so you don't get hit. That's the strategy there. And then when you have limit gauge is always full. The limit gauge is at maximum when you enter battle, and using powerful limit breaks won't deplete it. Some people just love to be able to see limit breaks. Oh, I got a cough. And when you do limit breaks, then the strategy you still have no health, or you still have to basically have to deal with trying to be able to figure out damage. Then you also have to try to be able to make sure to keep your MP gauge as full as possible. But if you just want to unleash a limit break attack, like an ultimate attack while you're figuring while you're figuring stuff out, great. That's awesome. You can still strategize around that. Or you can basically have your ATB gauges full. Let's take a look at that. It's always maxed out, so you can unleash abilities as much as you want without restriction. Same with MP. That way you can just focus in on making sure you don't get hit, and that way your abilities are always available to you, so you don't have to try to be able to keep track of all these different things all at once. And that could still be the strategy there. That could still keep that challenge of the game going. And then also, damage dealt is always 9,999. Yes, it does deal a lot of damage within one hit. And yes, it can take out the boss in very few hits. However, some people just want to be able to they just find that the bosses is not the most important part of the game. For them, it is basically, okay, you know what? I just want to hit these bosses, get through these, and then basically I want to enjoy the story. And I can still keep everything else. You know, everything else is still there, like the health, the MP, and all that stuff. But it's kind of like just walking around with, with basically James Bond's golden gun. It's one shot, one kill kind of deal for some people. And you just want to make the game more cinematic for yourself. Doing that too. Or you can have the option of all of them and just basically enjoy the story. Like you get to and here's the thing too. Imagine this, okay? Imagine that. Oh, God forbid we bring we think of the children in this situation. Imagine if you turn all these on and you want to have your kid be able to play Final Fantasy VII for the first time. But they're maybe a little young or have difficulty trying to be able to understand the new sort of modern aspect. Because when you play the original Final Fantasy VII, there is still that kind of turn-based combat, but it's a little bit more action-oriented in the new remake. But you want your kids to jump into a game and a story that you love. So turning on all these for them to be able to play makes it so that they can enjoy the game without having to be killed all the time and having to restart. That's not negating their experience. It's giving them still the experience of playing the game, but kind of eliminates some of the challenges that sometimes they're as they're learning their dexterity or their eye-hand coordination, that they're still trying to figure that out. Having these on basically kind of is like adding like bumpers to bowling. You're still going to hit pins. Doesn't mean you're going to hit a strike every time, but you're still going to hit the pins, and you're not going to get a gutter ball. You're not going to get zero. There's still a challenge of trying to be able to get all the pins to go down, but now it's just, you're just not going to get zero. So there's that. So by them saying, by this article saying it's going to break the game, it's not. It's basically just customizing the experience for players to enjoy the game however they want. Now, granted, would I've loved to be able to have a little bit more actual accessibility for disabled players? Yes, I would. Like a high contrast mode, or larger text size in some cases, or less sort of like huge visual effects for that's not covering on the whole screen, that potentially could cause photosensitivity issues in folks. There's a lot of that. I remember that from when I reviewed the game way back in the day when Remake came out. I think I reviewed it. I don't know. I remember I did some sort of videos on it, or at least I remember playing it for something. But I think that criticizing or saying, oh, it's going to break the game, or it's going to oh no, difficulty settings is ruining your experience. No, it's not. No, it's not. If anyone ever comments or says anything negative about how, if you decide to like, oh yeah, maybe having some of these settings on might, make the game more fun for me to play, then who are you to judge how they want to play the game? Oh, but you're not playing with the original intention in mind. They're not really getting the full experience. They're still getting the experience. Because what is important for playing this game, right? It's the story. Yeah, the gameplay is there and it's fun, and yes, you could still enjoy it even with all of these options on. You still get to enjoy the combat. Yeah, people may say, "Oh, then at that point you're just playing the story. You're not really playing it. You remove the game aspect from the actual game." No, they're not. They're just making it so it's more fun for players, and also in benefit, it has a benefit for accessibility too, because some of these can be beneficial for those with multiple disabilities, motor disabilities, blind low vision, deaf hard of hearing. Like it affects every disability. Maybe not necessarily directly, but it definitely can be able to help sort of add a little bit more of on rails, so that way, say a blind person is not going to get lost or basically dies due to the lack of, say, a screen reader or anything like that. Or to someone with a motor disability, basically not having the same reaction time in order to be able to dodge an enemy, so they had turn on HP is always full, so that way they don't have to worry about the timing of the dodge. Yes, they could try to be able to keep playing it, so that way they don't get hit. Yes, and because you can still keep that challenge going. It's just adding a safety net, so that way if they miss it, or their reaction time is just not quick enough because of their own motor disability, they could still be able to enjoy the game. I used to say that difficulty modes basically or accessibility kind of keeps the challenge of the game alive. The same challenge that everyone else is enjoying, we just want to be able to enjoy that too, just with some barriers released. But I've kind of come to a different sort of thinking of it. It's not about about keeping the challenge alive. Yes, that is still part of it, but I think it's just about making the game fun for you. If you want to play Final Fantasy VII with all of these turned on, which I probably might in some of the situations, maybe I might turn on full HP or full MP or what have you, I'm still going to enjoy it. I'm going to have fun regardless. I'm enjoying Final Fantasy VII. Technically for me, for the first time. I never did finish Remake, and I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, and I've yet to play Rebirth. So having these things there means I can customize that experience to make it more fun for me. And if you have a problem with that, you can go stuff it. Go complain on someone else's channel. Because you're not welcome in mine. Because it's all about like the whole point of accessibility is being able to customize the experience to be able to make it more fun for you. Because that's it. Yes, accessibility in its traditional sense is equality. It's equal access to a game. What does that mean? It means that basically we're playing the same type of game that everyone else is playing, just with some barriers removed. That our disability gets in the way. We're still enjoying the same game. That's the whole point, is that we can enjoy the same game that everyone else is playing. And make the game more fun for us to play. And if you think that that negates some sort of experience because it's different than how you played it or how you experienced it, then these options weren't for you. Everyone keeps telling us, oh, maybe this game is not for you. What if it was? What if this was like my shit? Like I wanted to play like I love playing Japanese RPGs. I love playing Japanese games. I love the Final Fantasy series. What if this was like my jam? This should be a game for me. This game was supposedly made for me. But if it doesn't have accessibility options, it doesn't have customizable difficulty settings, then it means I can't play. I can't play the game that I want to play. This game was made for me, but I can't play it because the game because the game isn't made for me to play, for me to have fun. So I want to have fun. I want to play this game. And now knowing that this is going to be there, I'm actually wondering if it's going to be available on the PlayStation and Xbox versions too, as well as the Nintendo Switch version. I'd imagine it probably might. And I'd imagine it probably might be coming to Rebirth as well, which is fine. I'm all for it. It means more people can play. More people can have fun with the game. Because what's the real point of Final Fantasy VII, right? It's to enjoy the story. Everyone talks about the story of Final Fantasy VII. Yes, the gameplay definitely comes as part of it, but you could still have fun with the gameplay just by customizing your experience to be able to make it more fun for you. If you just prefer a more cinematic type combats and you're just basically just going through going through it and just have your Cloud or Aerith or Tifa or Barret basically do really cool moves, then that's awesome. Then you're basically you're basically just creating your own cinematic experience that you could control, and that's cool. So let people play the games they want. That's the whole accessibility is optional. Don't yuck anyone else's yum just because it wasn't the same experience that you enjoyed, or that you think that this is cheapening or cheating the experience out of a player. No, it's not. Because what does a game really come down to? Is a game fun, and is the story enjoyable? Yes, the game may not have as much story. There could be, it's say like a sports game. There's not necessarily a story there. Yeah, there could be a story built into the game itself. Like there's always a story kind of being told within the actual match or what have you. But there's usually not like a single player story. Some games do have a single player campaign, but I'm just saying like this as an example, okay? Like there are some games that don't have a story, but you want to be able to still make the game fun. So accessibility can help do that. It's also to be able to help enjoy the story. Would you rather someone to be able to enjoy the story experience of Final Fantasy VII? Would you rob them of that? Oh, but the game is not the same as if you turn on these things. It's cheating yourself out of the experience. Cheating themselves out of what? Something that they're going to get frustrated with and never play again. What does that do? You just by not allowing someone to be able to customize the game to make it more fun, and them getting frustrated and stop playing like it did for me. I don't get to experience the game at all. Cheating myself out of it, out of a great experience. What if I can't finish the game? What if I can't finish the experience? What good is that to me then? cheating myself out of experience. If I get frustrated and stop, that's cheating myself out of an experience. So fuck off. Anyway, that's my rant for today. What do you think? Are you excited for the potential of these difficulty settings? Are you going to want to be able to jump into Final Fantasy VII now, potentially with these new settings? Let me know about all of this in the comment section down below. And by the way, I should say this, I am not necessarily picking on Ollie or Nintendo Life specifically for this. I wish the title and the headline was and the article was written in a little bit more sensitivity, but I'm not necessarily knocking them at all. I think that they, like, again, go support independent media, or go support just gaming outlets in general, media outlets in general, because we are losing them by the minute, and we definitely need to support them as much as possible. So please go click on the link in the description, so at least they get a click, and that way they can still keep the site going. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.